Police now have new ways to spy on us. Years ago, they might tap your home phone line. But now, get this, they can turn your laptop or your cell phone into a listening device. They can listen to you even when you're not using these things. I didn't know about this. Julian Sanchez covers technology and privacy for the Cato Institute. Really?
Yeah, as it turns out, this is something that was first reported a few years ago. It's been, in the light of the NSA revelations, more in the news. But most cell phone carriers have the capability to remotely install spyware, essentially, on your phone.
Remotely, so they don't even have to touch the phone.
That's right. It's like a kind of natural update, in the same way that your phone would update if there's a software upgrade of some kind to keep it running as fast and as well as
I don't call
usual.
it an update if the off switch doesn't turn the recording off.
Well, it's depending on whose idea of an upgrade it is. But yeah, and this is something that I think in real police states like China, you see people are more aware of. Dissidents and political activists there will often meet each other and take out their battery and put it on the table, so everyone is assured that everyone is taking the appropriate precautions.
What other things do you worry about?
There's dozens of ways we can be tracked. Our cell phones are tracking devices. Aerial surveillance.
And to be clear, if they're going to listen to us on the cell phone, that also requires a warrant.
Yeah, listening requires a warrant, but location tracking, if you're not using a physically installed device, may not. So if you're using license plate readers to know where every car in a city is, if you're using someone's cell phone records, checking what tower they were near every time they sent an email or a text or made a phone call. There are a variety of technologies that allow us to, in different ways, be searched physically. The same backscatter machines that are used in airport to kind of provide the friendly TSA agent with naked images of our bodies can be used in a more portable way to look into vehicles, to look under clothing, potentially to match suspicious shapes. There are
cruise down the street and aim it at people.
Exactly, or at vehicles.
A lot of the public says, you know, if you're not doing anything wrong, you have nothing to worry about, and we're safer because of this.
Well, the problem is who determines what's wrong. If you look, I think, at the history of our country, what you find is a decades-long history under presidents of both parties of the abuse of the power to monitor for political purposes, to suppress dissent. In the most notorious case, there was a basically decade-long campaign waged by the FBI in an effort to destroy and discredit Martin Luther King so he could be replaced by what the FBI called the right kind of Negro leader, meaning one they controlled. But it was also anti-war activists, women's rights activists, other civil rights leaders, unions, anyone that was seen as opposed to the incumbent authorities was treated as
but we're smarter now. This kind of thing wouldn't happen today.
If you look at both our history and current events around the world, it becomes clear that when people have the power to observe the public without their own actions being subject to oversight and accountability, they tend to arrogate them. Without us watching the watchers, they tend to arrogate to themselves the authority to determine who is a threat. And very often, someone who has a different political view is a threat in their eyes, as many dissidents in the 60s and 70s in the United States were seen as a threat.
More police now are not using drones.
Miami-Dade police with a high-flying tool. The 18-pound drone that's been used in war zones in the past is set to soar over the streets. It has a camera attached underneath.
And it will happen more places. You could say, so what? The satellites are looking at us now anyway.
Scale matters. The police can follow someone down the street, and we think that's okay. What if it were possible for the police to follow everyone down the street all the time? Are we willing to accept, in the name of safety, a world where everything everyone does the second they step out of their own front door is now a matter of permanent record to be searched, if not now, maybe in a couple of years, by someone who may not have safety as their primary interest?